You might have clicked on this video because you know that your communication skills kind of blow. Or maybe you're just interested in this kind of stuff. I know for me as a tradesperson, I spent most of my life in my nice little comfortable introverted shell working on people's houses and not having to talk to people very often, and I loved it. You know, some people, like, have you ever worked with one of those guys who like talks all day long, and if he's not talking to you, he's like on the phone talking to somebody, and it's like talks all day? I'm the opposite of that. I have no problem not talking to anybody ever. It's fine with me. And so I've had to learn a lot of these communication skills in business the hard way. And I'm going to give you some tips that I've learned over the years. And these are things, like I said, I learned the hard way. Like, I learned to do these because I've run into so many issues, and I'll try to explain what those issues were and work backwards. But if you just take some of the things I say in this video and put them into practice, you'll make more money. Your life will be so much easier, and you'll have way less headaches and frustrated customers. So these days I tend to lean towards the idea of over-communication. So like over-communicate, under-communicate. If you're under-communicating with somebody, that's like when they hardly ever hear from you. Your customer's sitting around wondering like, hey, have you heard from Jim? No, I haven't heard from him. Like, I wonder what he's up to. Is he still working on our project? You know, if your customers are ever wondering what you're up to or where we stand with everything, then you're under-communicating. If you're over-communicating, your customers know what's going on 100% of the time, and maybe they even laugh sometimes when you send them a text message or something, and they're like, cool, I didn't need to know you're eating a burrito for lunch, but really good to know that you'll be back to work in 10 minutes. So let's just talk through some of these. The reason this has been on my mind is because, you know, I have worked in construction my whole life, and for the last 8 years, I've owned a marketing company, and we work predominantly with construction guys, contractors, tradespeople. And so I have multiple people every day reaching out to me for my help, and I get to interact with them. And when they come in, the way that I qualify people these days is like, I think it's kind of funny. I qualify them based off of their engagement, meaning the first thing that happens when somebody contacts us, no matter what, is I send them a text message. And it says that when you fill out the form, it says when you make sure that you respond to the text message. And I send them a message, and half of the people never respond to it. So it's like, great, works for me. I just move them out of my system, and I don't have to think about it anymore. And of the half that respond, I'd say maybe like 30% of them, so 3 out of 10 people, have awesome communication skills. They respond right away. They write in complete sentences. They use punctuation. They're clear about what's going on. They're very responsive, so they don't take forever to respond. And they just move quickly. Like, I can have a quick conversation with them and get us where we need to go very quickly and easily. And we both understand what's going on. The other 70%, like, it's not like that. I'll get like a one-word answer to a question, or there won't be any capitalization, punctuation, or anything. And immediately, like, this is all a test. When I talk to somebody for the first time, especially at a marketing company, but it's the same with any business, even if it's someone hitting me up for a remodel, I'm testing them from the first moment because I want to know if I want to work with this person. If they don't respond to a text for 8 hours, or they speak in incomplete sentences or don't make any sense, that's just a signal to me that, like, okay, I might not really want to spend too much time with this person. And your customers are thinking the same exact thing. And if you pay attention to this stuff and you develop good habits around it, it can make or break your business. Over the years, I've worked with thousands of people, and it's super, super clear. Those who have good communication skills and rock this stuff, like, they're successful. They make money. It might not always be easy, but they always work it out. A lot of the ones that have really bad communication skills and never get better, they don't go anywhere. Even like they might get a lot of opportunities, but they might get a lot of leads, but they don't close those deals. And it's a shame. And so that's why I'm making this video. I want you to be able to close deals. I want you to be able to come off as professional so that when people like me talk to you, I want to work with you. I want to interact with you. So what are some of these things? Like, one thing I would say is like key is responsiveness. So this is something that my team and I, like, I push my people so hard. Like, when somebody sends us an email, calls us, texts us, we respond to them immediately. Even if the response is, hey, I can't get to this at the moment, but I'll take a look and I got your message and I'll get back to you a little later. Like, just acknowledging that they got the communication. And as I talk about this and I think about it, I think a lot of it is I'm trying to field questions before they ever become questions. Like, and this is because, like I said earlier in the video, like, I don't naturally do this stuff. I don't really naturally like talking to people, but I've had to field so many questions, or like, a lot of them from frustrated customers who, like, something happened and the communication wasn't there, and now they're all upset. And I have to talk to them longer and walk them back and explain the situation and all this stuff. When had I just sent them a text message that let them know what was going on right before it happened or right after, then all of that could have been avoided. And so responsiveness is one of those things, and fielding the questions is like, if there's any chance that your customer is going to have a question about something, just answer it before they ever ask. And aim for overcommunication. Like, just assume that they're going to ask you the question. Assume that they don't know what's going on and they need you to explain every little thing to them. And don't stop doing that unless they specifically ask you not to. Like, hey, I don't need a text message every time you're on the way to my house. You can just show up. If they tell you that, then don't give them a warning when you're going to their house. But that's another one, is like, I don't know what to call it. I'll just call it like, let's call it like engagement points. So what is an engagement point? It's like an opportunity for you to engage with your customer. So if I'm going to someone's house at 8 a.m. to start the workday, I'm texting them at 7:45 and letting them know, hey, we're on our way, we'll be there in 15 minutes. Or, hey, we're going to Home Depot on the way to your house. We'll be there around 8:30 to 9. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Every single time I go to their house, I'm sending them a message. And I'm looking for that response. If they don't respond, that's fine. But a lot of times they will, and that's good. That's like another little point for me. I got a confirmation. I got an engagement with my customer. The more engagements and interactions you have with your customer, like, the tighter you're going to be. The more rapport you'll have. Eventually, you'll almost become friends with your customers because you have so much interaction. And then later on, when you ask them for something like a referral or a review, they respond to you. They do it for you. This thought popped in my head last week about the reviews, because at Adapt we had about 75 reviews or something last week, and one of my guys was like, hey, we should try to get to 100 reviews as fast as we can. So I picked up my phone and I just scrolled through and my text messages, and I looked for all the clients that I've been talking to in the last couple months, and I sent them all the link, and they all gave me a review like immediately. Within 2 hours, I had reviews from all of them. And it's because we've been interacting all the time. And so, like, we just have that rapport. We have that friendship. We've already established that. If I just randomly texted a client who I haven't talked to in 6 months, like, if they respond, they probably, it won't happen as easily. And so, like, engagement points is every little opportunity you have. And an example that comes to mind is, like, you're doing an estimate for somebody. You go to their house, you get all the info you need. When you leave, you say, hey, I'm going to go work on this estimate. I'll have it done by the end of the day tomorrow, and I'll email it to you. 10 minutes after I leave their house, I'm sending them a text message. Hey, thanks for meeting with me. I appreciate your time, and I'm going to work on that estimate tomorrow and confirm again. I'm going to give it to you by the end of the day tomorrow. And then in the morning, maybe just sometime during the day, I'll send them another text. If they're engaging with me, if they never answer texts, I'm probably not going to keep sending them. But assuming that they're engaging with me, I'll send them another text sometime during the day. Hey, I'm working on your estimate, had a quick question, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't even matter if it's a real question, because the point isn't the question. The point is that you're engaging with them and you leave them thinking, oh, this guy's working on my stuff. That's really awesome. Like, you're in their head again. You've had all these little touch points. 5 o'clock or whatever rolls around, you email them the estimate, and then you text them a minute later, hey, just want to let you know I emailed that to you. Let's say they don't respond. Sometime the next morning, you text them again, hey, just wanted to confirm that you received that email. Make sure you don't have any questions. Like, a lot of these things that, like, we do this a lot with our clients, and we schedule these things in. Like, we'll schedule random touch points so that it just gives us more opportunities to engage and build that rapport with the customers. But a lot of this is like simple stuff like, hey, we're on the way to your house. Hey, we're going to be there at 3 p.m. and actually showing up. So that's another one, is like punctuality. Have you ever worked with a cable company or like an internet provider, and they're like, hey, we'll be at your house like sometime between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And you're like, cool, dude, that's really helpful. And then 5 o'clock rolls around, and then they tell you that they're not going to make it that day. Like, don't do that to people. Tell them what time you're going to be there, and then communicate with them throughout. Like, if you think you're going to be there at 3, if you're going to be there at 3, you text them at 2 and say, hey, we'll be there at 3 still. Or if you're going to be late, you text them at 2 and you say, hey, we're going to be there closer to 4. And just whatever's happening, be communicating with them nonstop, like letting them know what's going on. I'm a remodeler, so I often work with people like over longer periods of time. And so I get tons of opportunities to engage with clients. But if you're doing a service like HVAC or plumbing or something, and you're going through a lot more customers, you have a lot shorter time period with them, there's a lot more, like all of your engagement points, a lot of them are around punctuality. Like, I've worked with some tradespeople where they have an automated system that shows me on the map where the guy is, and it sends me texts like, hey, John's on his way right now. He's 13 minutes away, and I can see him on the map. Like, you know how nice that is to just know exactly what's going on? As opposed to the opposite, I'm sitting around wondering if John's still coming today, and I haven't heard from him. So like, you get to choose what kind of situation you put your customers in. And I would choose like making sure that they're always apprised of what's going on, that we're always punctual, that we're engaging with them all the time, that anytime they say anything to us, we respond immediately. All these little tiny things, like I have to include it, but it's like punctuation and grammar. Like, look, we're not all good writers, but there's no excuse anymore, because we all have apps like ChatGPT where you can just voice to text a message and then copy paste it into your email. I mean, these days you could probably connect GPT to your email and have it just send it for you. But there's no excuse to like send broken messages to everyone that don't make any sense. Like, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. Responsiveness, like you could call it this, but answer the phones is a huge one. I still hear it all the time from our clients that like, oh, they'll get calls, and when they answer the phone, people are like surprised. They're like, oh my God, you answered the phone. I called 2 other companies and I just got their voicemail. And like, how many times have they gotten a job just because they picked up the phone when somebody called? So, we all have a cell phone. If your cell phone or your business line is your personal line, then it'll be harder for you probably. But I recommend having a dedicated business line if you need to, so that when that phone rings, you're answering it every single time. Super important. There's like AI answering services these days. They're pretty good. They're not perfect, but it's a lot better than nobody answering ever. Especially if you're buying leads. If you're buying like LSA and you never answer the phone, like Google will just stop sending you calls. This is all a bit of a rant, but you can tell that I'm serious about this stuff. And I'm serious about it because over the years, I've lost plenty of opportunities. I've lost plenty of clients because of improper communication. Like things as simple as, something changing with the customer's billing and contacting them to make sure they understand why they're getting a certain email. Like, I can't tell you how many times like something changes and a client calls us and is like really upset. They're like, I didn't want to cancel this. Like, I don't know what's going on. And that's just a really huge red flag to me that we under-communicated in this situation. And we really started to figure this out at my companies in about the beginning of 2024. And we at the time we were losing maybe just call like 6 customers a month because we do monthly stuff. And we got that down to like 1. And it was all because we just started focusing on communicating all the time, knowing our clients, engaging with them all the time. And so you can do the same thing. I talk about a lot of stuff, but I'm sure that as I talk about it, you can think of a couple things that you're doing wrong right now. And so I just challenge you to go and just try to fix one thing. Like text one of your clients right now and let them know what time you're going to be there in the morning. And just make sure that they know that you are working on their stuff, that you care about it, and that they can reach you anytime when they need anything like that. And it'll help you get more customers, it'll help you retain them, it'll help you make a lot more money.